Many of these masters can afford to dress as they please, because their costs and their earnings fit like hand in glove. Now, since Charities turned trader and heads the queue for hearing noblemen's confessions, many untoward things have happened in the last few years. Unless the friars and the church can improve their relations, a terrible calamity will soon hang over our heads. There was a pardoner preaching there, for all the world as if he were a priest. He produced an indulgence covered with episcopal authorizations, and said that he himself had the power to absolve all and sundry who had failed to observe their fasting penances, or had broken solemn vows. The ignorant put their full trust in him. They liked what he said, and came up to him on their knees to kiss his bull. He gave them a sharp tap with his mandate, and made their eyes water. And with that roll of indented parchment he netted a haul of rings and brooches. This, good people, is how you lay out your cash to support gluttonous skivers. You hand it to layabouts who toss it to their tarts. Now, if the bishop were a man of God, and if he had a decent pair of ears, his seal would not be at the service of men who con ordinary people. But the bishop doesn't intend this, that charlatans should go about as preachers. No, it's the parish priest who splits the silver with the pardoner. Money that would reach the poor of the parish, if it wasn't for the pair of them. Rectors and vicars were there, complaining to their bishops that their parishes had been destitute since the time of the plague. They asked for special permission to reside in London and sing mass there to a more profitable tune, the sweet sound of silver. Bishops were there too, and learned clergy, bachelors, masters, and doctors of divinity, men who hold a responsibility under Christ and are crowned with the tonsure as a symbol of their duties towards their people, hearing their confessions, preaching to them, praying for them, feeding the poor among them. In Lent and at other seasons, these too settle their haunches in the capital. Some become royal servants and keep account of the king's moneys. Some handle the Crown's claims for payments overdue to the Exchequer or the Chancery, raking in the royal advantage from guardianship cases, ward meetings, bits of lost property, waifs and strays. Other clerics take service with the nobility and discharge the functions of stewards, passing judgments in the manorial courts. But their religious duties of saying mass, matins, and the canonical hours are carried out gracelessly, so that I fear that day when the final grand sessions is held. What a heavy sentence Christ will pass upon the whole pack of them! I had a glimpse of the power entrusted to St. Peter, the power to bind and unbind, in the phrase of Scripture. I saw how he bequeathed it, in a spirit of love, as Christ commanded, to the keeping of the 4 cardinal virtues, which are so called because their virtue is preeminent. They are gates that close and open the entranceway to Christ's kingdom, letting in those who possess them and keeping out those who do not. But as for the cardinals at the papal court who have assumed that name and presumed with it the power to make a pope possessor of St. Peter's powers, well, I shan't set about questioning them. Electing the pope belongs, does it not, to those endowed with love and learning, for which reason I can't, say more about courts. Next there came a king. Knighthood preceded him. The power of the commons established him as ruler. And then kind wit came, and he created the order of clerks, the men of learning, to act as royal councillors and to protect the common interest. The king, together with knights and clerks, arranged it so that the common people would provide their living for them. The commons, then, through the agency of kind wit, developed skills and crafts. For everyone's benefit, they established ploughmen, whose task was to till the earth, labouring in a life according with the demands of truth and honesty. The 3 of them, king, commons, and kind wit, brought into being law and justice, the principle of each to his own, to each his own. At that point, a mad fellow, a scrawny-looking creature, looked up and said to the king, kneeling and speaking in clerkly phrase, "May Christ watch over you in your realm, sire. May he grant you the power to rule your land so that just men and justice itself will smile on you, and may you receive..."